That situation where your little brother got killed.
Yeah, facts. That changed me.
Your little brother wasn't in the streets at all.
At all, period. I got 3 little brothers. He was the only one didn't want to be a part of the streets. I kept him in school, bought him new cars and shit. I just kept him in school, kept him out the way so he can focus on school.
He was wanted on second-degree murder charges for the shooting in August of Tomanuel Benson, the brother of Memphis rapper Blac Youngsta.
Where you at, dog?
See the left, dog? You see me? Down fat, cuz.
Where you at, dog?
Where you at? Where you at? We in Cascade right now. We just left the store. Where you at right now, dog? Hey, man, I'm gonna keep this G, bro. Dog, you a soft ass. You nice ass. If you got a problem, you got a problem.
When you talk about the events leading up to Young Dolph's tragic death, one name that always seems to come up is Blac Youngsta. Out of everybody Dolph had issues with, Blac Youngsta was probably the most aggressive and vocal about it. Their beef ran deep, and it got real ugly over the years.
Yeah,
Where
dog.
you at, dog? Down fat, cuz.
Where you at, dog?
Where you at? Where you at? We in Cascade right now. We just left the store. Where you at right now, dog?
What shocked a lot of folks was that even after Dolph was killed, Youngsta didn't slow down or fall back. If anything, he turned the disrespect up even more, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But the streets have a way of spinning the block, and not always in the way people expect. Blac Youngsta would end up dealing with some heavy losses himself. Not just one, but all 3 of his brothers lost to the streets. Now, out of all of them, the death of Tomanuel Benson stands out the most, mainly because a lot of people are tying it back to the whole Dolph situation. On August 18th, 2023, Memphis police responded to a shooting at a BP gas station on South Parkway East around 9:30 in the morning. When they got there, they found a man lying on the ground with a fatal gunshot wound. That man turned out to be Tomanuel Benson, Blac Youngsta's own brother. What made the whole thing even more wild is that the shooter didn't even bother to wear a mask or hide his identity. Dude walked up in broad daylight and did what he came to do like he wasn't the least bit worried about getting caught. The police released a clear image of the suspect not long after, along with a $5,000 reward for any tips that could lead to an arrest.
He was wanted on second-degree murder charges for the shooting in August of Tomanuel Benson, the brother of Memphis rapper Blac Youngsta.
Tomanuel's murder sent shockwaves through the city, but to some folks it wasn't all that surprising. The streets had been talking for a while, and a lot of people felt like Blac Youngsta had played with fire one too many times, especially after Dolph was killed. People questioned why Tomanuel was even in Memphis in the first place, considering how hot things were after everything that went down. See, just days after Dolph's death, Blac Youngsta went viral for performing his 2016 diss track Shake Some at Aces of Dallas nightclub. A lot of folks saw that as straight up disrespectful, especially with how fresh the loss still was. But instead of pulling back or showing any remorse, Youngsta leaned into the beef even harder. He went as far as filming a new video for his track I'm Assuming in a graveyard. And in that video, he stood right in front of a tombstone that had Thornton written on it, which was a direct jab at Young Dolph's real last name.
I'm on the birds about to purge with the young they stacking bodies. Bust out the lamp.
The move caused a lot of backlash online. People felt like he had crossed a line that you just don't cross, especially in Memphis where Dolph was loved. But Youngsta didn't seem to care. He got on Instagram and basically doubled down, saying, "I'm the type of dude who ain't never sat back and looked for nobody to feel sorry for me. I come from the heart of South Memphis where you get no sympathy, don't even know what that is. With that being said, I could give 2FS what the world think about me." And while that might have been him trying to look tough, the streets don't forget. And they definitely don't forgive that easy. A lot of people believe that Tomanuel became a target not for something he did, but for the role his brother played. It's one of those tragic situations where the streets don't care about innocence or the full story. It's not about facts, it's about feelings. If people feel a certain way about you, they'll make sure you feel it too. And since Blac Youngsta is a star, someone with money, protection, and security who's not even living in Memphis full-time anymore, he's not exactly easy to get to. So, what do the streets do? They aim for who's close to you, the ones who are still accessible, the ones who'll hurt you the most. In this case, that was his family. But the hate that Memphis had toward Blac Youngsta didn't just come out of nowhere, and it didn't start with the death of Tomanuel either. Before Tomanuel was gunned down, Blac Youngsta had already buried 2 of his brothers, and those losses shaped a lot of who he became. The first heartbreak came back in November 2013, when the youngest of the family, Ronnie Benson, was killed.
Well, you had a situation where your little brother got killed.
Yeah, facts. That changed me.
And according to Blac Youngsta, that one hit him the hardest. Out of all 4 brothers, Ronnie was the one who stayed on the straight and narrow. He wasn't into the streets like the rest of them. He just wanted to go to school, be smart, and make something of himself.
Your little brother wasn't in the streets at all.
At all, period. I got 3 little brothers. He was the only one, didn't want to be a part of the streets. I kept him in school, bought him new cars, and I just kept him in school, kept him out the way so he can focus on school.
But the streets don't care if you're innocent or just trying to stay out the way, especially if your family's already knee-deep in it. Eventually, the lifestyle that surrounded his older brothers caught up with him, and it cost him his life. Blac Youngsta was devastated. Losing Ronnie sent him spiraling. He felt like the one good, pure-hearted person in their circle had been taken away, and that kind of loss hits different. He's said in interviews that Ronnie's death pushed him to a dark place. He felt empty, angry, and completely disconnected from everything. For a while, he let go of his rap dreams altogether. He turned back to the streets harder than ever, robbing, hustling, doing whatever it took to numb the pain and stay afloat. He was recording music here and there, but his passion for it just wasn't there anymore. It was like part of him died with Ronnie. Years later, in 2016, he posted a tribute to Ronnie on his birthday that really showed how deep the pain went. In the Facebook post, he wrote, "I miss you so much, lil brother. I swear to God, when you died, I thought about killing myself. No lie. Sometimes I just wish God would have took me and not you. I just wish we could trade places. My life will never be the same without you in it. I changed my life around, lil brother. I don't rob or sell dope no more. I'm an important person now. I don't work for food no more, lil brother. I work for myself now. And I got our other 2 baby brothers out the streets." But just when it seemed like he was starting to find some balance, another tragedy hit. In 2019, he lost another brother, Tederick Benson, who went by TD or TD Heavy Camp in the music world. TD was shot and killed at an apartment complex in Lauderhill, Florida. That loss reopened old wounds, and this time it happened while Youngsta was knee-deep in the most intense part of his beef with Young Dolph. At that point, the tension between Blac Youngsta, Yo Gotti, and Young Dolph was at an all-time high. Dolph had already survived multiple attempts on his life, and one of the most notorious incidents happened that same year. Over 100 bullets were fired at Dolph's SUV in Charlotte, North Carolina, and somehow, he walked away unscathed thanks to the bulletproof vehicle. Blac Youngsta was actually one of the suspects named in that shooting, though he ended up dodging the charges. Blac Youngsta losing his brothers was a heavy blow, something that clearly left a deep mark on him. And maybe, if he had known how things would play out, he might have toned down some of the antics and beef that ended up affecting the people closest to him. Blac Youngsta has opened up in several interviews about his tough upbringing and how he had to step up as a provider for his family from a very young age. Growing up, it was just him, his grandmother, and his 3 younger brothers all cramped together in a 1-bedroom apartment. Life wasn't easy, but he did whatever he could to help out. Before he was running the streets, Blac Youngsta actually got his start working at a local grocery store called Make Money Groceries, which was close to where he lived with his grandma. By the time he was just 10 years old, he was already hustling to support his family. He got creative with it too. In classic Memphis hustle fashion, Blac Youngsta would have his cousin call the grocery store and place an order for food, knowing full well that no one would ever come to pick it up. At the end of the day, when the food wasn't claimed, the store owners would let Youngsta take it home so he could feed his brothers. This clever little scheme worked for a while, but eventually the store shut down temporarily, and Blac Youngsta had to figure out a new way to make ends meet. At just 12 years old, Blac Youngsta found himself turning to the streets of South Memphis to survive. He started selling drugs, not just to random people in the neighborhood, but shockingly, even to some of his own family members.
Okay, I was serving my aunties, I was serving my aunties, my mamas, I was serving whoever.
He said he tried to keep things clean by selling high-quality drugs, so he wouldn't be responsible for hurting anyone with low-grade stuff that could be even more dangerous. But over time, he realized there was an easier, albeit riskier way to make money, selling fake drugs to local hustlers. In an interview with Vlad TV, Youngsta admitted that he once made $90,000 selling what are known as fast bricks, which are fake drugs sold as the real deal. He would pocket the cash and then disappear before anyone figured out they'd been tricked. This dangerous game worked for a while, but as they say, Memphis might be a small city, and the streets are even smaller. It wasn't long before he sold fake drugs to the wrong person, and they were ready to take revenge. Not long after, Blac Youngsta found himself on the receiving end of some street justice. While he was out on the block, he was caught in a drive-by shooting. He got hit 3 times, twice in the legs and once in the arm.
You got shot 3 times.
Yeah, I got shot 3 times.
Wait, 3 times at once or 3 times on 3 occasions?
Nah, in one situation.
He didn't even have his weapon on him at the time. To this day, he claims he has no idea who shot him, saying he had so many enemies back then that it could have been anyone. But instead of laying low and letting things cool off, Blac Youngsta wanted payback. He wanted his enemies to feel the same pain he felt when he got shot. After Ronnie was murdered, Blac Youngsta would release a track called Heavy. This song blew up in the Memphis streets, and suddenly Blac Youngsta had a buzz. The track was so hot that it caught the attention of Yo Gotti, one of Memphis's biggest rap stars. Gotti decided to jump on the remix and took Youngsta under his wing, even bringing him on tour. Things were finally starting to look up for Blac Youngsta. Not only did he become a new signee at Yo Gotti's CMG label, but Gotti also gifted him a brand new red Lamborghini. Gotti even revealed the car to him during a performance at a club. When they walked out into the parking lot, there it was, a shiny new Lamborghini waiting for him. A few months after dropping his hit song Heavy, Blac Youngsta was living the high life, flying around on a private jet. It was on one of these flights that he officially signed with CMG, which now stands for Creative Music Group, but back in the day was just known as Music Group. After signing with CMG, Blac Youngsta released his debut mixtape titled I Swear to God on September 24, 2015. This mixtape put him on the map, and he quickly started planning his next project. By 2016, he was already gearing up for his follow-up mixtape and was making a lot of money performing at local clubs, especially on the Chitlin circuit, which is a network of venues that have historically catered to black artists in the South. It was also around this time that he got heavily involved in the beef between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti. Not long after, he dropped another mixtape called Young and Reckless. The lead track on that tape was Shake Some, a direct diss track aimed at Young Dolph. Some people thought he was just being loyal to CMG and Yo Gotti, who had changed his life and given him a shot, but others saw it as Youngsta's way to stir up some drama, gain more fame, and sell records. Unlike Yo Gotti, who had been taking a more subtle approach with his disses, Blac Youngsta came out swinging. He didn't hold back, boldly saying he was going to slap Young Dolph.
Hey man, I'ma keep this G, bro. Dolph, you a soft you nice ass. If you got a problem, you got a problem.
When Young Dolph saw Blac Youngsta's video threatening him, he didn't take it too seriously at first. He responded with just a couple of emojis, a laughing face and a thumbs down, as if to say he wasn't bothered. But Blac Youngsta wasn't playing games. He pulled up to Young Dolph's neighborhood in Castellan, loaded up with all kinds of weapons, looking for Dolph. As soon as the video of Youngsta went viral, Dolph took to Instagram to call out both Blac Youngsta and Yo Gotti, accusing them of playing police games. He was basically saying they were trying to get him in trouble with the law, instead of handling things in the streets.
Gotti, you was a I just got back to the city, they say you trying to put charges on me and put the police on me. You seen your little do all your talking. Talk for yourself, ass. Hey, that big head down.
Fast forward, during CIA weekend in Charlotte, Young Dolph was ambushed, and over 100 shots were fired at his SUV. Miraculously, Dolph was unharmed, thanks to the bulletproof SUV he was in. But this wasn't just some random attack. It had Blac Youngsta's fingerprints all over it, at least according to rumors. The getaway van used in the shooting was allegedly rented by Blac Youngsta himself. However, Youngsta managed to dodge the charges. It turned out that the rental van had been reported stolen before the shooting, and Youngsta had a solid alibi placing him in Durham, North Carolina, which is hours away from Charlotte, for a performance at the time of the attack. TMZ later reported that the district attorney found no witnesses who could identify Youngsta, nor was there any solid evidence linking him to the shooting. With the case falling apart, Youngsta decided to capitalize on the publicity and announced he was dropping new music. Then in November 2021, Young Dolph was murdered in a planned hit in South Memphis. The news shocked the rap community and left a void in Memphis's music scene. Just a month after Dolph's death, Blac Youngsta released a music video shot in a cemetery, filled with subliminal disses aimed at Dolph. To make things even more controversial, he performed his diss track Shake Some, which had already gained notoriety for its harsh lyrics against Dolph during a club performance in Dallas. The timing and disrespectful nature of the performance didn't sit well with many fans and people in the club, who found it incredibly tasteless given that Dolph had just been murdered. Some people even speculated that Blac Youngsta might have had something to do with Dolph's death. But those rumors were quickly put to rest when the actual suspects were caught just weeks after the shooting. Even though Youngsta was cleared of any involvement, the speculation and bad blood didn't do his reputation any favors. As 2024 began, another blow hit the CMG camp. Big Juk, Yo Gotti's brother and a significant figure in CMG, was shot and K-worded at a funeral service in East Memphis. The shooting happened right outside the service, just as people were leaving. To many, it looked like Memphis was continuing to slide for Dolph, and this time they were targeting CMG's brothers. And while the news shook the city, some folks are saying Big Juk had it coming, especially now that it's been revealed he was allegedly the one who put a bounty on Young Dolph's head. As for Blac Youngsta, he's still making music, but his reputation has taken a serious hit. Many people in the industry and fans alike have lost respect for him, and it seems like his past actions are coming back to haunt him. While he's still out there trying to stay relevant, it's clear that many don't rate him like they used to.